recording.
All right, so
Campaign 0 has started.
you mean
Recap.
session 0.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Session 0. Recap. There is nothing to recap. And that's where we are.
Oh, yes, Dwarlin, you may has character. Are you loaded in?
They are.
Guys, don't forget
Would
By
be
the
under
way-
my old
modules.
user, but I'm using his.
Just release it.
Will do.
The only thing that I have to mention is I have my Campaign 1 recap whenever you want to sit through that. So
Yeah, so that's going to be pretty much when we're done with everything.
you
That's
tell
gonna
me
be
when
like-
you want me to play that
Like, we're
mess.
going to watch that, and then session 0 is over.
Sure, man.
We're gonna
So Gavin, I
watch it.
can't pick up one more thing.
What do you need?
No, I said I can't pick up a single thing. Or I'll be over encumbered. I'm already at 118 weight.
Oh. Yeah,
I
that's
can't
something you
pick
got to
up
keep in
another
mind. Nobody has a bag of holding yet. At least-
correction.
Oh, that's right. You have a bag of holding.
You need to add a bag of holding and an immovable rod into my inventory because I can't grab those.
Oh,
two
you
items.
got an
Dude.
immovable rod? I was thinking about
which-
getting an immovable rod. For the
I hate that he has that thing.
Oh, yeah?
Just imagine, and I know I'm going to be planting this idea in your head. Car chase. Somebody behind you. Drop the immovable rod in the air. Person fucking slams into the rod with their car, totals their vehicle.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
I gotta go back and get the immovable rod.
That is true. I was gonna have a movable rod for Brandon's campaign, but we like scratched that campaign and went to a new one. And bro, I was so looking forward to playing that character because I was a monk and I was short and I was annoying. Like you should have asked, and I messed with dead bodies. It was gonna be so much fun. But then they were Brandon was just like, nope, not anymore. And I'm like, what the hell?
Wait, what did I say?
Alright.
We weren't remember the campaign that we started where I was playing the monk that messes with dead bodies.
Yeah.
Oh, Dwarlin, are you wanting the, I'm not going to call you Dwarlin. I'm either calling you by your own name or calling you by your character's name. Right now, since we haven't started yet, you're Kit. So, Kit, you want the bag of holding to be your second uncommon? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
Absolutely. We can do that.
Keep me my pocket void.
It's a good investment to make. However, what I am going to expect everybody to do, even if you have a bag of holding, keep track, because the way I run the bag of holding is it just increases your inventory size by 500 pounds. So take whatever your max encumbrance is, which for you is 150, and add 500 to it. So you can carry 650 pounds of gear.
Sweet.
I don't know what I'm gonna get for my second uncommon item.
Gavin, I'm so conflicted.
With what?
I said I'm so like not used to being over encumbered.
I know. So, Nick, there's a couple things you could do. A real simple option is you could just pick a +1 of whatever firearm, and that could be your uncommon. Like, you could have, like, a +1 revolver, a +1 rifle, +1 shotgun, anything like that.
I will.
Okay.
But that's the other thing. So we are going to go over some items, because one thing I did once I got my check several months ago is I went ahead and bought just a general package that just gave me a ton of extra shit for the Fantasy Ground server, and with that comes with a ton of extra items. So we can just look through some uncommons, and yeah, and if you guys are just interested, because it's stuff you might not be able to look through, I have 14 pages of uncommons. Surely there's something in here that people would be happy with.
Great. That sounds amazing, Gavin. You're gonna make me do this all night, aren't you?
No, this isn't going to be all night.
I'm just kidding.
All right, so Welcome to session 0, everybody. The first thing I want to go over to make sure everybody's clear about it, and for those that aren't that experienced kit with D&D, we're going to go over some rules. So if everybody could look in their guides and turn to the house rules page.
You mean the
I'm
ones
trying to
that we
find the
break?
email.
What'd you say?
Did I send it to you? Just type in Gavin.
Just leave it be for the time being. We'll send it later.
So at the top, it should be rules are always, there is always an exception to one rule because we will at least break 50 of these rules.
Nope, not this time.
Campaign, before session 10.
Not this time. I'm really trying to rein in. I feel like my biggest weakness as a DM is that I'm not hardline enough when it comes to enforcing the rules. So that is something that my goal during campaign 2 is to change. We're going to be following the rules. These rules will be followed to the T in most occasions. Of course, there's always exceptions and there's always situations that the rules can't account for. So then I'll make a judgment call at that point in time. But these house rules are rules that everybody should be familiar with because these are law. So the big one that everybody should already know is being able to drink a potion as a bonus action. I feel like it's a really disappointing turn, and I always have felt that way, to just have your turn, drink a potion, and then that's the end of my turn. That's no fun. So that's why I make it a bonus action. So again, you guys are familiar with the fact that if you roll a natural 1 on the saving throw, and it's against a damaging spell or a damaging effect, doesn't necessarily have to be a spell, it counts as a crit. So if somebody stabs you with poison damage and you have to make a Constitution saving throw, and that poison damage is 5d6 and you roll a nat 1, well, that poison damage becomes 10d6, for example. So, any questions? You guys on board so far?
That's one rule.
Yeah.
All right.
Questions for the...
So another thing, this hardly ever comes up. A spell that specifies a bonus action, you can use that as your action, or an effect that specifies a bonus action, you can use that as your action. The big thing everybody needs to learn, and this is something new that I just sort of wanted to make a concrete rule about, that I just sort of dealt with on a case-by-case basis, and I'm not going to be doing that anymore, is the one about fall speed. That is the 6th bullet point. Everybody should be familiar with that.
120 feet per turn at the start of their turn, end of the turn. And they gain
Yes.
terminal velocity. So basically, if you're falling and you cast Misty Step, when you appear at the next location, you continue to fall at the rate of 120 feet per second.
No, I actually do say that a teleportation stops your momentum. Sorry, that probably should have been in the house rules.
I wish we had those house rules in the last campaign.
You did.
No, we
And
didn't.
that was used multiple times.
No, because a giant mimic, picked up Dorian, and I Misty stepped out, and you still made me take the fall damage on the ground.
I don't remember that, because I can also remember a time.
10 feet of fall damage.
There was also a time where you were falling and you used Dimension Door right when you were about to hit the ground and you didn't take any fall damage. There was also a time where Aaron did the same thing. He was falling, and he used his Warp Shot right before he was about to hit the ground, and he didn't take any fall damage.
Was there an episode where Aaron didn't use Warp Shot?
Well, he didn't always have it.
I just
trust me,
realized.
I try to get it at the beginning of the campaign.
I did not use a warp shot during the Zeos fight.
I thought
So-
you did.
Nope, I did not use warp shot during the Zeos fight.
No, he waited until he was in front of a king, and then he shot at the king.
Oh yeah, that's true. A point blank range.
He's not even playing that character anymore, and he's still never going to live it down.
No, he's not.
I hate you all.
I'm gonna attack him with my rapier at point blank range.
Point blank range.
No, he's gonna be. Now the joke is gonna be with his character. I'm gonna throw my double-bladed trident at them.
How do you have a double-bladed trident?
I have a double-ended trident.
Oh, a double-ended trident. Oh, okay, that makes a little bit more sense than a double-bladed trident. Just
It's a
Some
trident on
black-
each side. It's a
just
bowl
some-
with a trident on each side.
some blacksmith was just half-ass making a trident. I'm just gonna only sharpen 2 of these points. They're gonna
That would
Why
be a
not?
trident.
Oh,
Yeah, that would be a
cool.
trident, is what that would be.
Trident.
I
So-
have a double-ended trident. Yes.
Biden.
A big thing that you guys need to know is their acrobatics and athletics are a lot more useful now because whenever you fall, anytime that you would take fall damage, anytime you fall far enough that you'd be subjected to fall damage, you'll have the opportunity to roll an acrobatics or athletics check. Your roll gets subtracted from the total number of feet that you fell, and the damage gets calculated accordingly. For example, if you fall 40 feet, you get a 20 on acrobatics. Okay, well now the damage is calculated as if you fell 20, not 40.
You know, Gavin, I feel like since you're making this whole thing such a big point, I feel like we're going to do a lot of falling. And I feel
I mean,
like
I
it's going
haven't planned on it, but you know, you guys are in an airship and it's going down. You know, I mean, who knows?
Wait, at the beginning of the campaign?
That was an example. I'm not saying you're going to
Oh.
be on a crashing airship right at the start of the campaign.
Oh, by the way, guys, so y'all are falling, like plummeting to your
mean-
death at the middle of
Hey,
New
guys.
Year. in the
Yeet.
I mean,
campaign.
I did see somebody post in a D&D group that they start their campaigns with each of their players rolling a d20, and your character starts the campaign falling from that many miles in the sky.
Yeah,
So
you told us about that. It's like, oh, you died. Reroll another character.
I struggle to think of a level 1 character that could survive even just a mile fall.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, the big thing, and this is for you, Nick, since I imagine, well, Nick and Brandon, look at the driving on the second page for advanced house rules. You need to be familiar with that.
All right.
Yeah, I've already read it. Again,
Okay, I did not
Gavin,
see
I've
this.
read your entire book.
Which I
Nice.
appreciate.
Look, I
I'm
did
just
not
trying to
have
kiss your
time.
butt right
I
now.
had to skim over it.
Oh,
Because
and to the bard and the sorcerer, you need to look at the hanky panky page because you guys are probably gonna need to know that. Them charisma-based characters.
Why?
Listen, I tried reading that and I couldn't stop laughing the entire time.
I
Oh,
had
I
to
read
read it
that
out
entire
loud.
page.
Say,
Look.
really, the bard needs to know that because you're a bard.
I'm not
I-
going to pull that shit often.
Kit,
Often. She didn't say at all. She just said often.
Kit, I literally skimmed through the entire book, but once I got to that page, I read the entire damn page. I did not skip a word.
People was on that.
Listen, I rarely swing the straight way, so I don't have to worry about that.
Oh.
Hey, all it takes is one. All right. Anybody got any questions so far?
Who's Molly?
That is Kelly's character.
I can't read the full name.
It is just Molly the Barbarian. That's what it is.
I don't like it that I can't see everybody's full name.
So, another big part of Session 0 is sort of an open forum between myself and the players about what the expectations are for Campaign 2. So, like, each person, you can tell me you like puzzles, you like combat, you like a lot of RP. Tell me what you want out of the campaign and what you would be most excited to get. Don't everybody jump up at one time.
Yeah.
I want
here to have a good time.
I want a wonderful mix between heavy combat and heavy RP. I want that
I like to
flavor.
think that's how I typically do. So, okay.
Except for the last part of the entire campaign, like the last
Which
two
was
arcs.
mostly RP. But yeah.
No, the last two arcs was like Let me just do. And no more like 6-session freaking dungeons or like boss fights. No more 6-session boss fights.
Okay, constructive criticism is part of the session 0, so
I would
no
like
no hard feelings. What everybody wants to say.
I would like just as it's hard to say. No more awkward 40-minute sex scenes between DM the DM and literally anyone else.
Look,
I really-
wrote a whole page on it. It's gonna be hard not to.
And then I don't. There's no. I don't. We'll
So quickly
Yes.
fade to black. Everybody
Well-
imagines what just happened, and we move on. Right?
yeah,
Yes,
like
my name is
the
Antonio
phrase would be
Montez,
for the
and
sake
motion
of
has been
brevity,
seconded.
and then like highlight that everywhere you go.
Motion seconded.
Yes.
So
I heard that.
so fades to black. Everybody
You've been part
knows
of a
what's going
problem over
on.
there, Mr.
We're
Third
all
Matt.
we're all adults here, so we all know what goes on, and we move on. Got it.
40-minute foreplay. No thanks. I'm good. Worst
I'm
sport ever.
I'm just trying to make sure that we didn't upload the UA version of the Twilight Cleric over here, so I'm just gonna be doing this for a minute.
That's fine. So anybody else? Expectations for the campaign. What you want from me?
Let's see.
I
want-
personally, because I was super, super, super guilty of this in campaign 1, minimize the amount of secret messages between a player and the DM.
Yeah.
Most things need to be made public. Even if you don't want the rest of the group to know what you're doing, you still say it publicly. And it's just kind of a player knowledge versus character knowledge. Your player may know what you did on the secret side, but your character, by Boy Scouts honor, is expected not to act on that. But it seems like we had a lot of shit ever since the tournament that went under the table. And again, I was hella guilty of this. But we need to make it more of a public thing.
Yeah, Mister, I made
already-
an entire god out of my ass.
And since I already know about certain things, let's not do players against players if you're trying to do something of that nature again.
It sounds like this is a lot of people saying they want less of what they did. That's what I'm getting so far.
Wait, hold on. Did the guy who literally attacked every single player in the last campaign just say he wants less PvP?
Right?
I never attacked Philia.
I am literally the only one you didn't.
You attacked everyone, not with one, but both your characters.
Except for
Pretty
Philia.
Pretty much.
All right, I'm getting a lot of less.
Person.
What would people like more of?
I'm gonna be
As
asking a
well
lot of
as
stupid
any
questions.
other lesses, as well as any other lesses if those come up.
Dreadlords.
More? You want more? You mean edgelords?
No, Dreadlords.
What the hell is a dreadlord?
The Lord of a Dread Domain. They're called Dreadlords.
Oh, you got that in your campaign, dude.
Well, that's.
I definitely want less of. Don't get me wrong. The side bantering is great, but I want more of like sticking to what we need to do, and more of a kind of a guidance route type thing. Of more like less than just like, okay, we're gonna go bullshit in this town for the entire session.
Okay.
Well, that happens regardless. There's no control over that. We have to have shopping episodes.
Oh yeah, that's fine. I don't mind shopping episodes, but like,
And some people are going to have to rehash, like, the experience of burning down people's houses. So, I mean, it's just going to happen.
Burning down.
not talking to 10,000 PCs and because it's NPCs because it's like, God King is trying to become God King.
Oh my god.
Well, I mean, stuff happens, man. Like, there might be times where we need to go talk to 10,000 different PCs.
Yes, but not one person. Like the entire group, sure, but not one person.
Oh, well, I mean, hopefully we're not in that role.
Gavin, you know what I want more?
What's that?
Since I'm actually more of that type of character, I want more tinkering time. I want to be able to tinker with
You
shit.
mean downtime?
Not
Yeah,
the-
downtime.
Well,
Downtime
A
is
little-
something that Gavin just can't give us willy nilly. I mean,
Yeah, true.
we
So-
can't just be in the middle of a dungeon and Gavin's just like, all right, guys, y'all got a week of downtime. Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying like
Just cut to a
maybe-
scene of you just working on like a clock while they're just fighting off like fire giants.
I was just saying, like, 'cause there was. I wish that there would have been a little bit more downtime in between certain things, because Aaron had no time to do anything
Okay.
as a tinker. Like,
So
none.
one thing that's worked to your benefit for that is the fact that
Okay, cool.
you're low level. You don't have any major just teleports where you can just be anywhere instantly. You have a ship that you have to go to and get on and travel by sea. It will take you days to get to most places. So tinkering can easily be done when you're on the ship. As well as I'll set aside some other additional time for alchemy, tinkering, studying, anything that people want to do.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be in the middle of session. Like, if I can text y'all, if I can like in the like, if we're moving somewhere and like it's in between like sessions, and I'd be like, hey Gavin, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing while we're
Here's what
going.
downtime is.
You know?
Yeah, exactly. And in fact, that's probably better anyway. If people can message me their downtime activity whenever you have it, that way we don't have to waste time in the session to go over it.
Alright, cool.
All right. So what else? What else would you like to see more or less of?
I want
in
more
campaign
beatbox
two?
battles.
Less beatbox battles.
More beatbox battles. Can you actually beatbox?
No.
Absolutely not.
Not gonna happen.
Is Kelly just straight up just like outed you? She's just like, fuck no.
I am white, for Christ's sake. I am ghostly white.
We're all white. Except for
So
Marquette.
should there be
Marquette's
should there be just some bust a move moments too, where people get into dance battles? Maybe the moonwalk, maybe a little bit of break
Oh,
dancing.
Jesus Christ.
Aggressively flosses.
Hey, we do have a bard.
So
You do.
in all honesty, if we want to get wrapped up in some random things like that, brevity should still be kept in mind. So like, I don't care if people want to go into an arm wrestling game or a drinking competition. That's all well and good. But when you have 5 other players that are having to wait 45 minutes for this random little side thing to pop up, brevity needs to be kept into a play.
All right, I'm taking notes of all of the things
I don't
you guys
want
are
to take
saying.
away from anybody's fun times doing something, but again, when this is like one player is doing this one
we're literally
random
playing
pop up
it.
that came into the scene, while the other 4 or 5 people are just sitting there twiddling their thumbs for 30, 40, 45 minutes. Like, I don't know if you want to put in a password of like, hey Gavin, can we, wrap this up or whatever.
Pineapple.
But if it's just one person doing it and not anybody else, like, we really need to keep brevity in mind.
Yeah, so I don't see on this page of protection and sex. I don't see a safe word on here. There's no safe word, Gavin. Come on now.
That is for you guys to come up with. That
There's no safe word.
Mine
in all
is pumpernickel.
seriousness- In all seriousness, Gavin, I think there should be more like intellectual stuff in dungeons, like
Iron
more
and
puzzles. Like we've already had this conversation, but like more puzzles, more riddles, more things to solve than just nothing but combat in a dungeon,
He's
but more
really
like puzzle
saying
type things.
Everything that he was fucked
again,
up.
I'm keeping notes
Hey,
of
here's
all the
thing
things
with
you guys are
puzzles.
saying.
I open
So
all the chests.
so far, I have less awkward sex
Hey,
scenes
here's
and
like
make
a
them
bunch
shorter.
of,
I have
sheets
less
and
secret
everything. Well, I
messages,
shove them
less
all in my bag
PvP,
before anybody
less
else can look
side
at 'em.
bantering, and more to the point. More tinkering / downtime. Keep brevity in mind for insignificant tasks. Arm wrestling / drinking,
I would like to
and
see
more
this
puzzles
fixed.
and riddles and dungeons is what I have so far.
Yeah, because we have we have other skills than just let me beat the hell out of something. We actually have, ability scores for a reason, more than just saving our asses
That's
from
what I
being
want. I want
attacked.
less Brandon, more not Brandon.
You don't want a lot of pressure to do a lot of singing. I mean, you know what? I'll cut you some slack on that one. Usually, I expect my bards to sing when they cast a spell, but if you just want to verbalize that you're doing it or that you're playing a sick guitar riff, I guess that's fine.
I appreciate it. I'm just really shy.
It's okay. You'll come out of your bubble through the campaign. You're playing a bard. You're gonna
So
have to.
because I hope so because she does have a hard time with people talking, like everyone talking over each other. She won't say a word. She won't be
Yeah.
loud and
So
assertive.
that brings up another point. So one thing, and this isn't just at you guys. This is at me too, because it's sort of my job to keep things organized. Less talking over each other. When somebody's doing something, wait your turn, wait till it's done. Only time that it's acceptable to interrupt is if the action that you have in mind might influence what they are doing.
Right. Like, I don't want the whole.
Gavin,
Does
how
that
much
make
do you-
sense?
How much do you know about skill challenges?
I'm in the middle of an area.
A little. That's a 4th edition thing, right?
Yeah, we'll talk about it later.
I never played 4th edition. I went straight from 3.5 to 5th.
Yeah, we'll talk.
And even if you have something to say, like you can, like we can even, like we have a chat system. We have Discord. We have the chat on Fantasy Grounds. Type in Fantasy Grounds. Hey, I want to go next.
Yeah,
Or,
yeah,
hey, I have
that's a
this.
great idea. So yeah, definitely respect that the fact that, and this is going to be even more important because we're going to have 6, probably 7 players for this campaign. So it's going to be real important for you guys. And something like Sean's mentioned, when we're playing online, in person, you can see that somebody might be wanting to say something, or somebody might raise their hand. Online, you don't have any of them. So everybody needs to be respectful of the other players and know that they are just part of the game and not all of it. That's not pointing any fingers at anybody. That's just a general statement. No, because I believe Sean definitely got better about that as the campaign went on.
I'm just picking on. I'm picking on Sean.
But yes, be respectful of your fellow players, and the only time
At the level?
again that it's acceptable to interrupt is if what you have in mind might influence what they're doing, might change their course of action. At that point, you can respectfully cut in and say, "Hold on, I have something," and then it's your go, and what you have to do or have to say may or may not influence it, and then we move on and they continue what they were doing. But we need to have some organization about this with a group this big.
Joe
I
Mama.
just ask once in a while for help because of the fact that I am such a new player, which I'm ashamed about.
And no, nothing to be ashamed about. I'm glad you're getting into it. And that's something else we'll cover too, is rules. We'll probably go over that a little bit later because there's some people that don't need to hear it, but everybody, some people sometimes need a refresher on the rules. So that's fine. Have you ever played 5th edition before?
A little bit with Brandon, but not a whole lot to get established in.
So I'll let you guys lead this part. Tell her how to D&D.
You say something you want to do, then you roll a d20 and figure it out.
Pretty much. I mean, honestly, be who you want to be, play your character the way you want to play it, and trust me, we've had all kinds of crazy shit go on, like people not talking and getting high and playing video games while they play D&D, and we had to call their name 17,000 times. Not pointing any fingers, because they're not here, but just play who you want to play. Be you.
And if you have, oh, sorry, hey, you go ahead. Brandon,
Go on,
you
Mister.
ahead.
I'm a half newbie.
Well, I'm just saying, if you have
He's
really
been playing for
questions-
like a year and a half. But continue. Sorry, Nick.
It's okay. What I'm saying is, like, if you have any questions, or if you have something that you think you can do, but you're not quite sure about it, you can always ask Gavin, and he'll most of the time either he'll have the answer or he'll search up the answer and get it right back to you.
One of us will have the answer for you.
Yeah.
Swing a dildo bat and bang everything. In all honesty,
That is how
if
to
there's
D&D.
if there's a technical move that you want to do or something that you're not entirely sure of, especially like if we're in combat and you're trying to plan out your moves ahead of time, I'm sure you can either talk to Brandon, or as a bard, you can message me, or if Gavin, if he's in the middle of doing things with everybody else, or like I said, message me and be like, hey, can I do this? That way me and you could have like a private conversation of what you can do if you want to figure out how your move or spell works before your actual turn comes up. That way it's not like your turn, like, well, I was thinking this, but I don't know really how this works. You can message me or Tony or whomever and just go ahead and ask your question, and one of us will get back to you. We're all a little bit more knowledgeable about this, and we'll give you kind of a heads up on what it is you can do.
I don't play bards,
And-
so
One of the things that my stepdad told me is like when he was DMing one of the games that he did, it's literally you can think of it in D&D and you're probably most likely going to be able to do it. One of the characters that he had when he was campaigning, he had a giant and they were in a cave and the giant was coming after them. And the dude literally threw down a spell, like ice wall, in between the giant's feet, and the giant was stuck there because of how big the ice wall was. Literally froze him still.
And that's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up because, most people here play video games, and there's a reason we keep coming back to D&D, and that is there's an overall freedom you have
we
with
don't need to
playing
talk
a
about the
tabletop game
entire-
like this that you don't get in
This is
video
what
games, and that
D&D
is that
is.
pretty much the sky is the limit on what you can do. You can do everything you can
Do
do in
some
real
private
life and then
time.
some. You're not restricted by whether you can do it with a button. So be creative. That's the best thing I can recommend. Anything you want to do, you can probably do, and if you can't, then bring up that you want to do it, and I'll let you know whether you can do it or not.
When she
And
made her character.
there may or may not be,
they've had
a
this
skill check
conversation
involved,
multiple times.
but
Or stipulations.
or stipulations. But by all means, try everything that you want to try.
All right, Gavin. I appreciate where you're going, but I've literally heard you have this conversation with her, which you created her character. That's D&D as a whole. Let's actually focus on what we need for session 0.
Okay, so let's introduce everybody's character. Tell me, your character's name, your class, what your
Are
character
we
is
doing
like.
that here? Or are we not going to do that in like actual session 1? Because it seems weird to do that when we haven't actually met each other in the game.
Well, this is nitty gritty. This isn't what your character is like. This isn't your character's backstory. This is what I play. This is my character's name.
Okay.
My name is this, and I am this.
I'm gonna
So-
choose decline.
Okay.
I want them to know who I am in game.
All right.
Because Sean does have a point. That is more of a session 1 in-game thing.
Yeah, it's when you introduce your characters, say what they look like and all that. Session 0, in my opinion, is when you do that with the DM, not with the other characters.
Right.
Yeah.
And so part of this is I'm going to be talking to each of you individually about how I'm introducing you in the first session. If you guys want to jump into that, then by all means we can.
Unless anybody has anything that they need to say to the group, I think that's where we're going.
Yeah, I mean, I say we should watch the video and that, Sean has worked tremendously on and
Tremendously.
tirelessly and all that. Watch that one and then...
This is the only other thing that I need to know, Gavin, is because we're starting off at level 5. Are we rolling for hit points? Do we just have assigned hit points? Where does that
Up
stand?
until 5th level, it's assigned. Just take the average.
I don't even know what that is for me.
It should have calculated it automatically.
Okay,
From this point forward, though, when your character's levels up, you can do either one.
Okay,
You can
well,
take the
that's
average,
fine.
or
But
you can roll for it. And if you roll, I throw out ones.
That's fine. I'm cool with whatever was assigned to me. I just need to go ahead and make sure that was established beforehand. But yeah, unless there's, I don't think unless anybody has anything they need to talk to the group about, because anybody that I have had like private connections with before session 1, I've already talked to.
Same
So
here.
unless there's anything else that needs to be said to the group, yeah, I think I speak for everyone unless there's someone that disagrees to do your one-on-one thing with each character.
Okay.
I honestly thought that we were going to introduce our characters to each other and like be the first meeting was this session, not go over our character sheets. 'Cause that's already been
No.
done.
The character meeting is that's going to be in session 1. But one thing, while I have all of you, before I start talking to you individually, is what What is the nature of each of your relationships with each other prior to the start of the campaign?
I mean,
I
I've
feel
already covered that with you, so
I'm not going to choose to disclose that information.
Then just who do you have connections with? You
I have
just have a
connections with
connection with just okay, gotcha.
again,
I mean,
Gavin. That's stuff that should be introduced in campaign 1
well,
or in game
not
1.
not necessarily, because that information is partially what I'm going to use to introduce your characters in the campaign and how I'm going to formulate how I'm going to actually bring your group together.
I mean,
Because I'm
it's
trying to
gonna
come up with
be
something a little more original than just you meet in a tavern.
it's
You
gonna
already
be
know
the three of
who
them
it
and the three of
has.
us, right?
Yeah, but you've met, say, Tony's character before, haven't you?
I have come across him. I don't really know what he really looks like because he was wearing. Me and him have already disclosed that if he was wearing a plague doctor's mask at that time, we've already talked about this. I don't know who he actually looks
So
like. I know of him, but I don't know who he actually is.
So little information about my character is he mainly stays and lives at the Temple of Selune, just right outside of King's Crest in the woods. Um, it like borders the city limits and the woods, a little bit outside of the city. He is a doctor that wears a plague doctor's mask, and he is a cleric of Selune. And so what I've talked to Brandon about is that every now and then the temple gets people that come in that might have been injured and don't really want to be in the public eye, so they'll come and give donations to the church in seek of refuge or healing or something along those lines. So my character Neston and whatever which one is yours? Ban?
I am Raven.
Raven? Raven.
Raven
Yeah.
and Bond. It's Bond.
Oh, like
Raven
Bon
and
Meadow?
Bond. You have met Raven and Bond.
Yeah. So, I mean, I probably know what y'all look like. Y'all probably don't know what I look like out, but Neston, you would see he's got like this, um, it's it's like a black cloak, and underset is like this real tight black tunic that has several buttons going down the front. And it's like his entire outfit is very black, but one thing that stands out is just this platinum blonde hair flowing from outside. It's like really long, like halfway down his chest, just a platinum blonde hair. And inside the mask of the plague doctor is just these, it's like black sockets inside and these two golden irises inside of the mask. It
And
just
you pretty much always wear that mask.
almost. At nighttime, he does. At nighttime or when he's seeing a patient.
Okay.
Because he fills the math, just like in the old medieval times, when he sees patients, most of the time they get a lot of hobos and unsavory people, so he actually puts incense and herbs into the mask, the nose, so that way he doesn't have to smell the refuse.
Okay.
Kind of like a makeshift gas mask almost. Like the same way they used them back in the day. And so that's what everybody would have seen. And then now for Sean's character, he would have definitely seen him several times without the mask on, and he has, even though he enjoys being in the sunlight and stuff, you would notice that his cloak slightly changes colors as he travels between sunlight and nighttime. At nighttime, the cloak is black with like a silver lining. During the daytime, the cloak turns more of like a shade of, or during the daytime, it gets more of like a shade of silver rather than black with gold trimming on it. It kind of changes colors as it goes from night to day. And he has a very pale complexion. Very
Yeah.
elegant, feminine feet, like figures in his face. Like it's very, just like a very young elf. Elves have like this very feminine figure almost, and he looks like a very young elf.
Hey Gavin, do you want
What's
to
that?
before we like
because it's gonna be hard to introduce our characters if we don't know how the scene is set. So do you want to set the
So
scene
I'm
for us
I'm gonna be
now?
setting the scene for each person individually. Well, each group
Oh.
of people individually. So
Okay.
the different groups that I'm gonna be talking to is it's gonna be Flora, Bon, and Raven, and then Neston, Molly, and Lucas. Those are the 2 different groups I'm gonna be talking to. They're gonna be the main groups who are gonna be introduced simultaneously.
Understood.
So I guess I'll start with Nest, or I guess no, I'll start with Raven and Flora and Bon. So just so you guys know exactly what you're jumping into in campaign 2, so you can be thinking about it, so you can be ready for it, so you're not just kind of blindsided. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. So 4 of us, let's jump down into the D&D general chat.
You will not get recorded if you leave this channel.
Why? We literally just spoke about secrets. Oh my god.
John, go away.
Well, here's the thing. If you guys want this recorded, I have to be in the channel. Because if
Oh,
I don't
that's
get
true.
to hear it, I can't record it.
Yeah, that's true. I'll message you whenever you're in the
Sure.
clear.
I'll just take off my headset. I don't care. That's fine.
Okay. So, when you guys are introduced in session 1, you will be arriving to King's Crest by car. You have been invited. You had some strings pulled by a connection of Ravens, one Drexel Bellrook, to work security for the annual Convergence Festival, which is a festival that serves 2 purposes. For one, it's just a good time. People love going to it. People look forward to it the whole year. But it is a celebration of the time that the world was made whole, as well as paying respect to the efforts of the 7 deadly sins. That is the main purpose of the festival. You guys have been invited to work security, but really, it's not really needed. Drexel wanted to see Raven, and he pulled some strings to get you guys there and get you paid to do it. So you will be making 200 gold from doing this. It's just a easy, like little 8-hour thing that you're going to be doing and make a decent amount of gold for doing it. So you figured, why not? So that's where you're headed to now. Your ship is docked in Sea Shroud City because there is no port that connects directly to King's Crest. And you will be arriving there. The campaign will actually be starting with you guys. So right at the start of session 1, it'll be focused on you, and you will be pulling into the city.
Gotcha.
By the way, Tony's complaining about secrecy.
Is he?
Yeah. It's like, I thought we were gonna do these for secrets anymore. And I'm just like,
This is
okay.
before you guys knew each other. This doesn't apply to that. Well, not before
Yeah.
you guys knew each other, but before you guys had a connection to each other.
Yeah.
And I will
Yeah.
let y'all know because I have failed to inform y'all of what my character looks like. So y'all would know that her armor.
Well, you gave me a somewhat of.
Yeah, well, her armor is it looks exactly like her picture, but except for it's all seashells and different sea creatures, and she wears this ornate pirate coat with the Ouroboros on the back of it.
If you don't know what the
And
Ouroboros is, it is a symbol of a snake eating its own tail. Think of Full Metal
serpent
Alchemist.
eating its own tail. Get it right.
Serpent.
Oh, so it's
Okay.
like how. Oh, so it's like how Romeo died because Brandon didn't feed it and it was eating itself from.
No, your snake died by drying out because it didn't get water.
Well, it's yours supposed to take care of it, and it starved. It's your fault. It was eating itself, and snakes only eat itself when they're starving.
It was never eating itself. It dried out. Stop.
I literally came in and walked it, and it was literally eating its tail.
Anyways, besides that point, that was because Papa made it go into the basement.
was already in the basement to begin with.
Anyways,
All right.
Anyway,
back to-
moving on.
anyways, moving on. And she will be her pirate. By the way, and Gavin, her pirate hat will be lightning up because she has a hat
Lightning up. What do you mean?
like the
Oh,
lightning.
lighting
crashes,
up.
the lightning crashes and the storm that goes on across her hat.
Yeah.
That will be active with the Dark Sun symbol in full view.
Okay.
But yeah. Oh, and her trident also has a serpent wrapping all the way up it.
Now, what are you gonna do when you get access to a better weapon that doesn't have that theme on it?
It will end up. It will have it added onto it.
You'll add it. Okay.
Yep. Other than that, that's how my character's gonna go in, but cool. We know what we're doing.
Oh, Gavin.
Yep.
So, instead of my armor having the symbol of my religion, it's gonna be my rifles and my
Your rifle's
pistol.
gonna have. So they're gonna have the symbol.
Yep,
of
not my armor.
The Angel of Death on it.
Yep.
Yeah, because your armor has to be black and pointy.
Oh,
Well,
you're.
my-
Oh,
no,
you're.
my
That's
armor's
right.
close.
You're a corporal in the Dark Suns, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Your
My
armor
armor
has to be
have the
black and
symbol.
pointy.
Why does it have to be pointy?
Because that's the Dark Sun's armor is black and spiked.
Okay, how come my other character is able to have the regular armor it has, not fucking black and
No,
pointy?
your character, whenever you joined, would have had to have started wearing black armor.
The reason why it didn't happen is because we went from one battle to another battle to another battle. We didn't get a chance to actually fix your armor.
Yeah.
The pointy part, it's a common theme, yes, but at the very least, you have to be wearing black.
Okay, yeah, my cloak is black, unless I'm camouflaging. My cloak is black.
My armor's not even spiky. Mine has spikes dangling down, but it's not like they're straight up.
Okay. Anyways, that's the only thing I wanted to change with that one.
Okay. All right, so I think we're set.
Yep.
All right, so I'm gonna go. If you guys want to jump up there, I'll jump up and grab the other ones.
Sadly, since his dementia. Yeah, sadly, unfortunately, since he's passed, the entire plethora has gone to waste. So.
All right. So, well, I guess I shouldn't have even moved you. I could have just jumped up here and left you guys down there. But regardless, I need Molly, Neston, and Lucas. That is going to take some getting used to.
Why does it say Lucas Molly?
We are technically sharing a mic.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, y'all are still sharing a mic?
Yeah.
Yeah, the computer's not come in yet.
Gotcha.
So, I mean, I've got my headset,
right.
but then we start echoing. It's really awkward.
Am I bumping Grim and Nick down? in
Yeah.
general? Okay.
Oh, wait. What? Somebody just jumped in.
I got him.
Okay.
I'm bringing Groovy Bot back. I need my jams.
There we go. All right, so you guys, whenever we introduce, so it's going to start with the other group. We're going to move on to you guys next.
No.
It is going... You want what?
I want Rochambeau. See who goes first. I'll Rochambeau the shit out of Brandon.
I'm going to do it with them first because that's how I have it planned for you guys to all meet.
Fine.
You guys are already going to be there whenever that starts.
We're already
They
starting
are
as
coming-
second-class citizens.
they are coming into town. You guys are already in town, so they kind of need to make it where you guys are first.
Yeah, that's fine.
So the story is going to start with you guys in the town square. It is the town square right off of Sin Street. It is the main town square, and you're going to be at the annual Convergence Festival. You, Neston, are going to be working medical for that festival. You're going to be stationed at that square, and primarily you imagine your job is going to be dealing with drunk idiots and people that got into bar fights that need to be patched up. This isn't your first time working this. This is your first time being assigned to the main square. So you are going to be there, and as well, after we introduce you, it is going to pan to Molly and Shaziki, who are
You
then
mean
going to
Lucas?
notice. Or, God, that is going to take
Baby
a
steps.
lot of getting used to.
Baby
That is not going to be
steps.
the last time I make that mistake. Molly and Lucas, you're going to notice Neston, and having a previous connection to him, you introduce Molly to Neston, you guys meet each other, whatever, however you want that to play out.
We can do that right now.
No, we're going to do that tomorrow.
Oh.
So there will be events that will transpire that will lead the rest of basically the other
So,
mini
heads
group
up.
into meeting you guys.
The whole point was like Molly got hurt in the forest, and I brought her here because I knew Neston could be able to heal her real quick. Is that still going to be the case?
Yeah, I didn't know that. All right, or I might have forgotten that, but that works even better.
Womp.
Yeah, literally, Molly got hurt, and she was lost in the forest, and I was like, oh, hey, I know a guy that can heal people at this nearby town.
Do you have
Follow
the sending
me.
spell?
Do I know I don't think I do.
Requires a
If
whole
you,
notebook.
now I'm not trying to step on toes or anything, but if you have any levels in cleric and spell slots of level 3, you can grab the sending spell. Clerics.
I
can
have
use sending.
no points on cleric,
Oh,
and I do
well.
not have. Let's see if I even had message. I don't have message. So no, I have none of that jazz.
I do not have message either.
I'll find it. I'll recognize you. That'll be that.
Well, it'll be
I mean,
easy.
phones
Small.
do exist. There's just no cell phones, you know. So like, it's got the classic rotary phone, and you spin your numbers and all that.
Well, you
but-
could go to the temple, and then, my associate will be there, and then you could just ask her, and she could be like, "Oh, well, he's in the town square."
And that is exactly where we will start campaign 0.
I'm thinking it would just be better for you to just start it having already done that, and you're in the town square.
That's what I'm saying.
Just
like,
yeah, brevity.
oh hey, we just got to town square, and lo and behold, there's Neston.
So you want me to just go ahead and mark off one use of my healer's kit?
Not yet.
No.
Healer's kit is 10 uses, right? Or what is it?
Yes, you get 10 uses.
Okay, yeah, I don't think it says... It doesn't say... Oh, okay, there we go. Alright, so I'm gonna put 10-10 in my inventory, so I know exactly.
I'm gonna say she has a cut on her pinky.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that's...
So it's nothing crazy. It's just like she has a sore pinky, and she wants it fixed.
No, the dagger's still in her arm.
I was thinking at least
That'd be
I
fucking wild.
face planted something or. scraped
It's
my
still
arm
like an
across
arterial bleed. She's just squirting on passerbys.
something.
Like, there's something stuck in my back. I got this itch. Spin around,
Like-
there's like a fucking long sword.
I can't reach
It's just a whole battle axe in her clavicle.
my biceps. Are
No,
so
you
large
just
because
have
I'm
a
giant,
random
like, I can't
tree.
reach
You just
it.
have a random tree branch that's just impaled through her forearm. I'll let you guys decide the nature of the injury that she has that would make
Oh.
you seek out a healer.
Gavin, one extra thing I need you to add to my inventory. Now, it's not something that I actually have,
Sciatica.
but I want to have it in my inventory because I am planning on making it. It is the Cogoctum's ointment.
The fucking what?
I don't know. Just type in ointment. I don't know how to pronounce that first fucking word.
You know what?
Something for
I got
Jewish.
it. I got it. She has a metal tooth in her clavicle.
Eh?
Where she fought a metal saber-tooth tiger.
You mean Kioftum's ointment? That
Yeah.
dude, you should have said that.
Yeah.
Like,
Just throw that in my inventory because I do plan on making that here soon. I just want to remember that I need to make it.
All right. And now that doesn't mean anybody can be like, oh, by the way, that Vorpal sword, I plan on making that, and if you could just go ahead and add that to my
No, go ahead.
inventory.
Go ahead. Yeah, there we go. No, no, because you said it's going to take time to make it, but I most definitely can make it, and that's why I chose some of the traits that I picked up, or the tools. It doesn't say it on here. It says it in my D&D Beyond when I built the character, but I should be proficient in healing
Alchemy
kits.
supplies?
Yeah, alchemy supply, or is it alchemy supplies or
Alchemy is for healing.
Yeah.
Or no, it's herbalism that's for healing. Alchemy is for fun stuff.
I should have herbalism kits in my
Do you still have
proficiencies.
poisoners?
Yes, I have poisoners kits. Yeah, because I got the poisoner's kit to make antidotes and the herbalism kit to make potions. And then I took the healer feat so I can use the healing kits to actually heal HP. And you said with the poisoner's kits and the herbalism kits, I can make this ointment. With the amount and my medicine, my high medicine, I can make this. You said it would be easy for me to make this ointment. But it would take rare ingredients just to make it, which will be hard to find, I guess.
Which reminds me, I still have to make you a spell book. I'll try to work on that some tonight.
Yeah, that's good.
So, or not a spell book. I mean a potion book. That's actually for both of you guys. I need to do that. So, I think we're all set. Can they come back?
You tell me, man.
No. Give it like 5 more minutes. I mean, me and Kelly were kind of in the middle of a conversation before y'all jumped back in.
I think we're set. Which I'm going to tell them.
Well, that was like super quick and easy.
Yeah, again, I wasn't expecting this to be a terribly in-depth... Well, in-depth, sure, but that's why I was okay with starting this at 8, because I knew this probably wouldn't take a long time.
This could have been like an email and not a meeting.
That's why I figured we would start the first session tonight.
Yeah, I think we're okay. I have a puzzle to get to.
It was literally 5 seconds worth of information that I actually needed.
Don't hate.
What?
Appreciate.
What does Lucas look like? I can't see that little thumbnail.
Yeah, I did it on purpose. Cha-cha-cha. No, not really.
Oh,
but anyway.
Oh, okay.
Oh, where am I supposed to put my character?
All right.
So,
just send it into Discord.
Gavin, real question. Hold up a minute.
What's up?
How'd you build Genzo?
As a private message.
As a fighter rogue.
Okay, but like, how many levels of fighter did you go into him?
3.
3.
I did several, but you know, I want you to build your own character. I don't want you to just copy an NPC I made.
I got you. I don't want to copy it. I just want to kind of get a basis on how.
I've told you my recommendation, and that would be to put anywhere between 5 to 8 levels into fighter and the rest into rogue.
Okay.
I will leave it up to you to determine how many you want to put.
Okay, I need. So what level? Okay, 2 questions. What level do you get uncanny dodge and all that kind of stuff, nifty shit?
You get uncanny dodge at level 5 and evasion at level 7. That's right.
Level 7. Okay. And at what level do you get your second expertise?
That is a good question, and one that I can find out. Rogue. So you get your next bit of expertise at level 6 as a rogue.
Okay. So basically, go my next couple levels going rogue, at least up to 7 to get off that nifty shit. Gotcha.
Yeah, probably that. You probably want to get to 5th level as fighter before you start doing that, though, so you get extra attack.
Sounds good. Yeah, I'll probably go one more. All right. Yep.
So,
And with the money, I need that situated because I do not have anything for my money. And where do I put my car that apparently I own, that I bought apparently?
it's on the ship. You don't need to put it anywhere.
So I don't need to
So,
put it in my inventory
I'm
to say that I have it.
no, no. So
Okay.
I'm going to give you guys a couple options. Okay, so your starting money can either be. Let me see. Let me look at how I set this up.
$1
So
million.
for your starting money, and I've thought about this, and I'm not worried about it. You can either take 500, or you can roll a D100 and multiply it by 10. Your choice.
I just choose to get another uncommon item and
No.
have no money.
So, how much out of that 500 can we just deduct for like starting supplies?
Well, when it comes to basic starting supplies, as long as it's common, I'll just give it to you.
Well,
You know, when it comes to like spell reagents and stuff like that,
yeah.
So I got 76. That mean I have 760 gold.
it does.
So that's 780.
Okay, so what are you subtracting out of my money for the car?
That's already taken care of. Just take. You
It's
have
gonna be
connections, so just take 100 out of whatever you would normally start with.
Hey, how do you roll a D100 in this thing?
Right click on the D10 and then just hit the percentile.
Okay, so I got
Nice.
9100.
Well, 910,
Oh yeah, 910.
160.
Oh my gosh, that was a terrible
Roll for me.
roll. Oh,
Well,
shit.
you
You're
just
stuck
rolled
with
the barbarian
60
you
gold,
rolled.
Nick.
Oh, okay.
Oh my
How'd you
gosh.
already roll?
Apparently he rolled.
Oh wait, no, don't we Gavin,
What, I got
the
36 there?
thing for
Yeah,
the
but if you didn't roll, that doesn't count.
No, that's fine.
I'll text you. Hold on.
Alright,
Hey.
well,
Okay.
apparently you rolled for Molly, which doesn't count. So, I'm rolling for Lucas right now.
No, it can't. Okay.
Nice.
You know, I saw the 10, I got excited, and I didn't realize there's the 1 before it, so... Alright, and then this is for Molly.
I'm a giant. I don't exactly have a lot of expansive things. Oh, even less. Thank you.
No, you died. You got 200.
What is it, a nat 20? What does that mean?
All right, add your gold. And you know what? As a courtesy to you, Nick, I will give your buddy old pal Raven a choice. She can take the 100 gold hit for you if she wants to.
Yeah, I'll take the 100 gold hit. That's not a problem.
Remember, 50 gold for 1 pound.
All right, and we're using the currency of gold and platinum still, right?
Silver, gold, and platinum. Copper will come up occasionally,
Yeah,
but
200
probably
gold.
not much.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm a barbarian.
Hey, Gavin.
So
I'm just saying.
we
You
don't
just,
typically
you just
have-
need to
Gavin.
write it down somewhere.
Oh, right, yeah. Right, rolling in the dough.
Oh, I
Gavin.
see your picture. Cool. Yes, what's up?
I'm gonna take the 100 gold hit for him, and I'm gonna take the 100 gold hit for Flora
And for yourself?
and for myself.
So
So,
that 910 becomes 610.
if I want to buy some spell components out the gate, do I just need to do that in-game, or can I do that ahead of time?
Dude, when it comes to your components for your spells, I'll just give them to you. It won't cost you anything.
Well, I need to have a 50 gold diamond, so...
That you will have to buy.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying. Can I just already have that and deduct it from my gold, or do I need to do that in-game?
You can do that.
Alright, then I have a 50 gold diamond, so I'm now down to 60 gold. I'll go ahead and deduct that and put that in my inventory.
Okay, question.
All
Why
right.
is it not allowing me to add the currency to the sidebar? Where I'm
You're probably trying to put it in the wrong bar. So
You need to go to
Where
inventory.
treasure is.
in your
Oh,
inventory, where treasure is,
the
you
line is
so
for the
ahead
gold.
of time, you guys should already go ahead and make a space for platinum, gold, silver, and copper.
And copper.
And copper. It will come up sometimes.
We're gonna do gold.
You got to consider, and the way I typically price things is a silver piece is worth about $1. A gold piece is worth about $10. But that means you have no cent increments without copper. And sometimes something might be $1.50, you know? So
So as far
But-
as our like clothing or any kind of specialty anything, does that need to get deducted from our gold, or is that just
if
we
it
have
is
it?
common or lower, you can have it for free.
The only thing I need is for my wand thing that I talked about before.
Oh, that your little gizmo?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean you can just have that.
Okay. That's all I really need. That's the only like specialty thing. Aside from that, it's just like ingredients, I guess, for potions and whatnot. What I've already would have collected up to this point, or bought.
So that'll be my project tonight. After we stop, I'll go through and I'll make you your recipe book, and I'll go ahead and just add some ingredients that I feel like you would probably have.
Okie dokie.
So, but all right, so that's money, and as well as Kelly, you still have to pick your second uncommon.
Yeah,
And
the
I
only
gotta
thing I
pick
kinda
my
need
second
help for.
uncommon.
Need help
Yes,
for.
you do, and we can go over all that. There are
Hey.
many items to choose from.
How much would a tiny bell and a piece of fine silver wire cost me?
Oh, I know what that's for. Not much. Here, let me look.
The silver wire should cost you a silver.
Yeah, realistically speaking, but let me look. There's probably already an entry for silver wire.
I only have like 2 spells that cost a gold or a currency. One is a 50 gold worth diamond, and the other one is 300.
So the silver wire will cost you 10 silver pieces, which is 1 gold piece.
Can
Oh, wait,
59 gold?
no, that's a pair
So,
of
and as-
platinum rings worth 50 gold each. I'll get those later.
So you need a tiny bell. Is that what you needed?
Yep.
That is another 1 gold piece.
It's an expensive ass bell.
Right.
It's a $10 bell.
Network. Sorry about
Fucking cat just bit the shit out of me.
I know, the cat that I've got here was just clawing the shit out of me.
that. Mine just screams.
So I'll go through my spells and I'll just send you a DM message. You can go ahead and continue on. You just tell me how much it's going to end up costing.
Yeah, I may or may not be
Take me
bleeding.
over the room.
Oh my Jesus.
Like
Dude,
a
just
pinch
slap
of
the
soot
shit out of
and
the cat.
salt.
Soot? Yeah, soot.
Cat.
Actually, that doesn't take anything anyway.
Yeah, I don't really have any spells that.
Much disappointment. Sorry.
Well, not only that,
Yeah,
but
material cost.
I've got a spell focus, so it's not like I need everything. I just need stuff that has a money amount.
Oh, Gavin.
He's not here.
One thing that I do want.
I am here.
Is
I'm back.
Okay. One thing I do want is a poisoner. Is that not a common, or what is
A
that?
poisoner's kit? Yeah, that's
Do
common. You can have that.
Do you have proficiency in poisoners kits?
That's what I also want to know too.
You don't have it, but you can gain it by books of poisoning.
So that's another thing. It's going to take a long ass time for you guys to
Oh.
gain a proficiency just from study.
Hey.
It's possible, but it's going to be the kind of thing where you're probably only going to be able to get into 2 or 3, maybe 4 of those throughout the entire course of the campaign.
Hey,
That you
Gavin.
can just. What's up?
I'm going to deduct 10 gold from my inventory to say that I had already used the components to cast a spell prior to session 1.
Okay, you want to tell me what that is, or you want to message it to me?
It's find familiar. I have to use
Oh,
10
yeah,
gold
yeah, yeah.
worth of stuff, so I'll just say I've already used that money to get what I needed, and I cast that, so I have a familiar on hand.
Okay, cool. I'm fine with that. All right, so for people that don't have their 2 uncommons, and yeah, sorry, Nick, I would give you the kit if you had proficiency in it, but since you don't, I can't really justify why you would just have
You'll
picked
be
that up along the
okay,
way.
I promise.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be okay.
Are you saying that to me or Nick?
Nick,
Oh, okay.
there's a bunch of us with poisoner kits. Maybe. Or maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody has a healer's kit that's actually a poisoner's kit in disguise. You don't know.
Pulling the hood up or down requests action, really?
Requires an action.
Oh yeah, requires.
But I mean,
Yeah.
most of the time you can do that because it's not like you're in combat when it happens. So
True.
like you just pull up the hood
Yeah.
before you go into this tower.
Why
or whatever.
would I?
You don't
Yeah,
really need to
why
do
would
it
I?
in the middle of a fight.
Yeah, why would I pull it down in the middle of a fight? Exactly. Alright.
Oh, all right. So, Molly, you need a second uncommon. So, let's go into the items tab. Look for uncommon. And yeah, there's all kinds of options. So you could have there, Amulet of the Drunkard. That's one. That's an uncommon. What is the?
Seeing as my hobby's brewery, that might be necessary.
You want that?
I think there's a brewery supplies that you can get, actually.
Yeah, she has them.
I was like, I feel like I already have them, yeah. Amulet of it. An Amulet of the Drunkard, if memory serves me correctly, that is the, I can drink and get 1 health point.
More than
Something like
that.
that?
It's like
Oh, okay.
it's like taking a potion. Let's see. Smells of ale stained wood. While wearing it, you can regain 44 plus 4 hit points when you drink a pint of beer, ale, mead, or wine. Once the amulet has restored hit points, it can't do so again until the next dawn. Once a day, you can drink by drinking an entire pint. You can gain that much back. Though I will say to do that in the middle of combat is probably going to take your whole
Kinda
action and not a
awkward,
bonus
yeah.
action. That is a whole pint you're trying to guzzle
Right.
down.
Well, I'm a giant, so is it, you know, a pint is like, okay, here's a can of Coke. Seeing as I'm 7 feet tall.
Yeah, I should probably come up with a concrete rule for that. Maybe a drunkenness check, perhaps, to see how quickly you can get it down.
Probably. Like, am I a sipper or am I a chugger? Just because
Yeah,
I make the
that's what-
booze doesn't
that's
mean
what
I
we don't
inhale it.
have.
Is she the
What's
one
that?
that swirls the rhyme and tastes?
We don't
The
have the
barbarian
drunkenness check.
with their pinky in the air. Let me
I
tell you.
already added it. I already added it
So-
to my character.
That has to be added manually, unfortunately. But I can go ahead and add that to yours.
No, don't add to mine. I don't need drunkenness checks.
Everybody does.
Shouldn't I have proficiency in it? I am a pirate.
Oh, we have half proficiency in it. Gavin gives.
Yeah.
gives
Well, I was
half.
giving him half, but you have been alive for 90 years. Well, a long time. So, yeah, I'm going to give you full proficiency in drunkenness. Because you've definitely... I mean, Bon, you're, what, 18?
Yeah.
You know, I mean... So, granted, there's not a drinking age, but still, you haven't had nearly enough time, at least nearly as much time as Raven has. Oh my god, these freaking cats, I swear.
Say that again.
They are
Your water.
all over my computer.
Bag of holding. And your guitar. Yeah, the guitar thing that you picked.
For find familiar, what items do you need for that? I'm trying to find the spell and I just do not. Oh, that's because clerics don't get it.
Yes.
Never mind.
weapon. Get your instrument in the bard.
Yeah.
But yeah,
It looks like I have all the materials I need,
Honestly,
except for one spell. I won't be able to cast Identify for a while.
items. Like eventually, I guarantee you.
the
will.
pearl?
you don't have what you need for identify. Is that what you're saying?
I need a
I told you.
pearl worth 100 gold, and I don't have 100 gold because I started off with 110 for my shit roll for money.
I can give him a pearl. I'll take
I had
100
to
gold
one
out of
thing.
mine.
I had to complete my silk
Okay.
robe,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, I'll take
I am
100 gold
still
out of
even
mine so you
completing
can have a
that.
pearl.
I can't hold anymore. I have
You hear me,
112 out of 100.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay.
Well, you also have a companion that chose a bag of holding for her
Right.
second
Not
item.
120 for you. It's 600. 600. Yeah, you get 650.
All right, I'll put it in my inventory if you're deducting it. So
Yeah,
I already added it.
You added what to where?
I added a pearl to yours. My bad. I didn't add it to Lucas. I added it to Neston. I need to add it to
Yeah,
Lucas.
move it over to.
You have more strength than I do, so you can carry more.
Which
there
I
isn't
will
really,
gladly do when this stops lagging.
there isn't really any
Sorry, I'm loading books.
spells for me that are going to require a cost.
So,
Clerics.
a reminder to everybody, one thing I am enforcing this campaign is material components. You have a spell, you need the material component for the spell.
unless you have a spell focus,
You're talking about the whatever the currency cost of the spell, right?
That, yes, but no, you have to have the material components for your spells.
Okay, so I'm going to need to go get.
so are we here? Here's my clarification: are you removing spell focuses entirely? Because typically
No,
you have a spell focus, and all you need is anything that costs money. So like the pearl that costs 100 gold, I would have to have that. But as long as I still have a spell focus, I don't need, you know, a drop of ice water or cured leather or any random thing for all these other spells, because that's
I need-
what your
Are
component.
You
pouches
sure
are.
about that?
Yeah,
So
that's,
you're
that's,
saying I need.
that's why you get a spell focus instead of just a full component pouch.
I'm back.
You only, if you look it up, if you have a spell focus, you only need items that have a gold amount that go with them. So like Identify takes a pearl worth 100 gold and an owl feather. You don't need the owl feather because you have whatever your spell focus is, but you have have to have that 100 gold pearl.
You are right. I got you. No, then you don't need all the material components if you have a spell focus. See, I didn't run material components the last campaign, so I thought that I was just ignoring something that everybody had to do. That's really the rule, that if you have a spellcasting focus, you don't need material components.
As
They
long
don't have
you
a...
still need the stuff that costs money.
Cost.
If it has a numerical cost to it, you have to have that item that has a numerical cost. But otherwise, no. That's why you have the spell focus.
Okay, well, never mind then. But though I will say though, anytime that a spell has a consumed component, you need that.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying. Like, I spent the money for the Find Familiar spell, because it says it takes a 10 gold worth of charcoal or herbs or whatever which the spell consumes, which is why I just said I just burned through the 10 gold and I've already cast the spell beforehand.
Right, okay.
That's why I'm glad I don't have any consumed spells.
Got it.
Well-
Okay, well then, nix that.
So, are you giving me my pearl? Where's my pearl at? I need my pearl, bro.
So- Question.
Yeah, I need to go get
How do I
17
set up the
handfuls of those petals.
consuming
You have your
Of-
pearl.
the bullets?
That is Tony's thing. I didn't know you could do that, to where it would automatically take it out of your inventory.
Yeah, just whatever the ammo is in your inventory, just go over to actions and set it up.
How do you do that, though?
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you see where it says like mine says dagger, and then there's an arrow that says ranged, and then a hand?
Yeah.
Oh, where you put in
Okay.
the ammo for it?
Yeah, just put in where it says ammo, and then just always go off of how much ammo you have.
Are you
Oh.
talking about just changing that number?
No,
Is that what you're talking about?
It'll be the same. Do you have ammo in the items category? Is he just using?
So, what you're talking about doesn't work for firearms, because for firearms, for the amount of ammo, I always set it to be the total amount when the weapon is full. That way, it's easy to keep track of when you run out of bullets and have to reload.
Yeah,
I can't just
go
set
into
that number to
items.
100.
Go into items and find bullets, and then just set bullets as the ammo.
Okay.
Because you can do the same thing. You can do the same thing with arrows and bows. Like if you put a bow in your inventory and then you put arrows, when it goes over to ammo, it's going to show however many arrows you have as ammo for that bow.
Okay, well, I don't even have an item as ammo, so I'm gonna need.
I'm doing it for you now.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be like an arrow next to his weapon, and then it should say ammo, and then add bullets over.
So I'm starting you out with 48 bullets. You have enough to reload 8 times. Or you can roll a D100, and that's the number of bullets you start with.
Alright, we're gonna trust the dice here. Give me 1 second.
You said it's a D100?
And this doesn't count for what's already in the gun. Your guns are fully loaded.
Be funny if it pops up with like 10, 1, 50.
I get 50.
What about people with cannons?
71 bullets.
Well, you can either roll.
Alright.
So right click that. Yep.
Okay. So wait, hold up, because the rifle ammo and the pistol ammo are 2 different things, right?
No, I'm letting those be universal for now. When you get your high-powered rifle, that's going to be different.
Gotcha. Okay. So now, in front of ammo, I put exactly how much I have in my thing, right?
So, here's the problem, Brandon. When I give you 50 bullets, you are over-encumbered.
No, I am not.
Yep.
Guarantee you I won't be.
Oh, he's getting a bag of holding.
I guarantee you I won't be.
Okay.
I could hold on to them.
I got, because I have 50 bullets, and I won't be, trust me, because I'm going to freaking take shit that I don't need off. Like, I already took the 10 pieces of silk rope, 5 foot of silk rope off that I don't need. I'm taking shit away.
Make sure you just make start a note if you see where those are, and start a ship registry, so you don't forget any of that stuff.
Yeah, I do need to make a ship registry.
So, with the ammo,
do I have to do a ship registry on paper, or can I do it on here?
You can do it on here. So go into notes and just start a new note.
Oh, okay, on my character sheet, got it.
Well, no, not necessarily. I mean, you can do it there if you want to, but you can also
I don't want to do it there.
Okay, then you can do it on your characters. Then you can do it on your character sheet if you want.
Like I said, I don't want to do it on my character sheet.
Oh, okay. Then there you go.
Okay, cool. I found it.
Notes in the top right.
Yeah, and the best way to do that is just to drag the item from your inventory into that note. So that way it has the actual item link.
I don't think that'll work, Tony, because like Gavin said, it gives me all of the how many ammo I put in there. It gives me those dots, and that's how I decide when I need to reload.
Yeah, if the ammo only says it's a 6-shot, like if it's a 6-shot revolver, like my my guns are the same way. They had 30 rounds that they could do, and as soon as I typed in 30, it only popped up 30. It didn't pop up of how many bullets are in your inventory. It's how many the item can hold.
Yeah, and his gun is a 6-shot revolver. Now, I get for a bow, maybe something that doesn't have the reload feature. If you've got 100 arrows, you just make the number of shots 100. But you can't do that for a revolver because that's the way you keep track of when you have to reload. You just set the amount of ammo to the whole clip size. so that way you know when you got to reload.
Yeah.
So just the number of times you have to reload will be the best way to keep that and keep track of that.
Okay.
Plus, Gavin, I have my own personal bag of holding.
Ooh,
Wait,
yeah,
what now?
That's a lot of wind coming
Oh.
in there from somebody.
Nick.
Bro.
Yeah, Nick, that's
I'm
you.
muting him until he comes. And y'all just let me know when he fixes that.
Brandon said he's buying a bag of holding.
Oh, you want to buy a bag of holding?
Yes.
Okay, so I suppose that's something you guys can do if you want to. From your total starting money, if you find something that you want, you can just buy it.
Good.
So a bag of holding, that will cost you 200 gold.
That's fine. I have it.
All right, let me add that to your inventory. You've already subtracted the 300 that you said you were going to do.
Yep, I'll distract the 200
Yep.
too.
All right, so 200 gold for a bag of holding. I'll put it in your inventory.
Yeah, I'm going shopping.
So at this point, is there anything else anybody wants to bring up? Anything? Then for those of us that need to get their character sheets settled, you can stay on, and I'm more than happy to work with you. But for those of you who are all set, don't have anything else to bring up, no more concerns, comments, questions, then you're off the hook. Then you are. Then yeah.
What do you mean?
So
Off
at
the
this
hook?
point, I can just.
They had to sit through and watch my boring ass video.
Oh, that's right. We do still have to do that. So let's do that real quick. And then after that, whoever wants to go ahead and duck out can.
I'm gonna say you
And
can go and duck out now if you want to. It's like 16, 17 minutes to
hey,
cover the last 3
Marte!
years.
What's
Hey,
up,
you're
man?
here.
I'm here.
You got here just in time for the boring new hire video, basically.
Oh gosh, save me, please.
You're officially stuck with us.
No, so one of our players, Sean here, has made a 16-minute recap video that covers the entire 3-year session that we just wrapped up.
But they
Oh
won't get
my.
any of the references. Like
So
the
if you would like to
point-blank
watch
reference.
that with us, then by all means.
I'm trying to figure out how to do what you told me to do. I've never used Fantasy Grounds before.
Did you just install it?
I just went to the website and I'm creating an account. That's as far as I've gotten. I literally just sat down at my computer.
You can just make a free account, man. You don't have to pay for anything because we have the ultimate subscription, so nobody has to pay for anything.
Oh,
Yeah, so there's 3 plans. There's the basic, then the there's like a middle one, and then the
Standard.
ultimate. If you have the standard, then everybody has to have it. But if you have one ultimate subscription, then your players can all have free accounts.
okay. That's actually pretty cool. Is that worth having?
What, the ultimate?
Yes.
It's really only worth having if you're the DM.
Do you have D&D Beyond?
Yeah, that's what I used for my other session.
Then I would say you could honestly get Foundry for $50 and import all of your D&D Beyond information over into Foundry, and you could use that rather than paying for everything a second time for Fantasy Grounds. So,
Interesting.
like, if you're gonna run another game with a virtual tabletop and you already have books bought in D&D Beyond, I would definitely recommend Foundry. Foundry wasn't out until I think this year is when it came out. So we've already been playing on Fantasy Grounds for 3 years. 3.5 years? 3 years?
Not 3.5. It's like 2.5 because we played like the first 6 months. Well,
Yeah.
not even 6 months, like 4 months on.
At this point, I would recommend Foundry.
Okay, that's interesting. Only ask because I'm you guys are way more advanced than my group that our campaign that we've been running. So we literally use D&D Beyond while on a Skype video call, and we've been doing that for 2 years.
Yeah, if you, like I said, whoever your DM is, speak with them about Foundry. It's a virtual tabletop, and it imports all your D&D Beyond stats, your character sheet. So while you're looking at your character sheet and you go to make a roll like
This
you're
is a
doing in
one-on-one
D&D Beyond,
conversation, not a.
if you
everybody
have
needs
that
to be
account
here.
linked to your DM's Foundry, or if y'all do like what we did and you just all, like we have one Fantasy Ground account and we split it between the 3 of us that DM periodically. And if you link your D&D Beyond account to his Foundry account, when you roll on your character sheet in D&D Beyond, it pops up in Foundry.
Yeah, so
that's
we'll
cool.
cover all that in a little bit. So let's get to this
Okay.
recap video. Anybody who wants to watch it can. You don't necessarily have to watch it if you don't want to, Marte. You can just listen to it in the background while you get Fantasy Grounds figured out.
Okay.
And I'm good to.
Yeah,
This should be over at a little
I-
after 10.
I made my thing live here, so if everybody would just like pop into seeing my stream in
Yep.
Discord.
Sean, how do I get rid of all the other little faces on the far right of Discord? Like, I got a bunch of other little faces I don't want to see.
I don't think you do.
You shouldn't. You should be able to just make, if you're looking at this thing that I've got, you should just get a full screen.
So click Option. You have to click Option, and then after you click Options, show non-video participants. If that's checked, you'll see that. If you uncheck it, you won't see that.
Yes.
So let me pause my music before we get this going.
I was gonna say that's super loud, but it sounds
You
really
can turn
nice.
it down. Right click on Groovy and you can turn it down.
Well, he's about to just remove that because I'll have my own sound going on, but you're gonna want to know volume, so in case my video is a little too loud, you can also get rid of that.
All right. Whenever you are ready, Sean.
Is GroovyBot like turned off? I've got it muted
It's
on
muted.
mine.
Well, it's paused.
All right. Well, anyhow, let me turn it on in the stream thing. Yeah, look at me in my nice fancy suit there.
He literally put on a suit. I don't know if you put it on just
No.
for this video or just because you wanted to feel spiffy, but
I don't know if you looked at the picture, but it's only the top half of the suit. He's got bicycle shorts on.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie,
He's Zoom calling it right now.
I'm kind of naked from the waist down, boys.
All right,
Anyhow,
by the
I'm
way,
leaving.
this is Marte, guys. There's a chance he could be joining us for the campaign.
Sure.
Friend of
Anyway,
mine, so.
I apologize
It
for my
looks like
initial
I will
impression
be.
being this long ass boring video, but hey, here you go. So, without further
Thank
ado,
you.
Campaign 1 recap. Well, hello there. I'm here to tell you a tale. A tale of virtuous adventurers, of their trials and tribulations. Deadly tactics improvised and impossible shots taken. And I do mean impossible. What do you expect when you fire point-blank range, Aaron? But whether it was from their might, their courage, or just an excessive use of dildo bats, these mighty warriors saved countless lives, and that's the story I'm here to tell you about. Welcome to the Campaign 1 recap. We start this backstory with a backstory of its own. Long before the heroes of the story had come into existence, long before there was anyone that walked this planet, there were only 2 entities in all the universe. Ao and Zeos. These 2 were brothers, and they were the first, the overgods of unfathomable power. Ao was the overgod of creation who wanted to continuously make new life, while Zeus simply wanted balance. As Ao endlessly kept creating new life without concern for his brother's dismay, Zeus couldn't tolerate the lack of balance all this new life was making, and eventually their disagreements led to war. After a long struggle, Ao had become victorious, and banished his brother to the far realms. Even with his seemingly infinite power, he couldn't destroy Ao's creations. But with the vengeance stewing in his heart like a crazy ex-girlfriend, Zeus bided his time and kept working to make his way back to our plane of existence, while the far realm warped his perspective on reality. Well, a hop, skip, and several thousand years of later, we pick up with 3 adventurers named Dorian, Carrick, and Tenzin, who had all answered a contract to slay an unknown kind of dragon close to the city of Riverrun. Dorian was there because he was passing through the part of town due to part of his pilgrimage, Carrick because he had heard about it by word of mouth and had offered a lot of money, and Tenzin because of reasons. They were able to track down the dragon and murderized it. After the battle, they found an empty divine spark the dragon was guarding and held on to it. After leaving the cave, they saw a large blue tentacle just below the skyline, being one of the first times Zeus had begun to re-enter this plane, though they didn't know that at the time. After returning to the town for their reward, the greedy duke that had given them the contract offered them a tenth of their reward, so Carrick stole his diamond cane. After a brief confrontation, they escaped to the town of Mistvale, finding Mistvale to be ominously uninhabited because they had later discovered all the citizens had been turned into zombies. While they had the opportunity to warn the nearby city of King's Crest of the army of undead headed their way, they said, "Nah, ain't nobody got time for that." And thus King's Crest and practically everyone in it was turned into zombie food. The citizens of both Mistvale and King's Crest got zombified. One survivor of King's Crest, though, was the young Prince Uriel Highmark, who escaped the city thanks to his bodyguards. After the group arrived at the city of Geardale, a fleeing message got word to Geardale of the events that had transpired in King's Crest, and the group embarked on a rescue mission to save the prince who was being pursued. They found the prince being escorted by his bodyguards, rescued him, and delivered him to Geardale, which is an extremely heavily fortified city. The undead horde followed them to the gates of the city, and thanks to some heavy firearms, explosives, and flaming pitch and traps, this part of the horde that pursued the prince was held at bay and the threat removed. The group received a vision from Ao of the Xanathar, the leader of the Xanatharian crime syndicate, who was omniscient, believing that they were being given this information due to the Xanathar being able to give them a surefire way to deal with the looming threat. Upon visiting the town of Daggerport, they found the Xanathar had already prepared for an undead attack, and he instructed one of his bodyguards to fire a flaming arrow at an exact spot where a large number of explosives had been placed, destroying the wave of undead besieging them instantly. However, during the night his precognition failed him, and a large corpse behemoth besieged the city. After instruction from the Xanathar to travel to the town of Primralty, they secured a ship and sailed south. The group arrived on the docks of Primralty, and shortly afterward met a mercenary of the Dark Suns Guild by the name of Shiziki Belrook, who initially appeared as a half-drow. They joined together on a mission given by the king of the city to rescue his daughter Ravella. She was also the heir to the throne since the prince had mysteriously vanished years before. The troop followed their leads, and in the process of collecting intel, it was revealed that their new ally Shiziki was actually a changeling in hiding. They managed to discover that the princess was located in the depths of an overrun temple of Aquatos and found her there. She pleaded for them to investigate an anomaly she herself had come down to look into, and when they did, they found a portal to the plane of water where they discovered her long-missing brother. Unfortunately, he had turned his loyalty to Zeus and attacked. No worries though, the only person who was really hurt was the princess who got herself killed, and it wouldn't be the last time. But we totally revived her. The evil prince, however, got the snot kicked out of him and had his soul ripped from his body. Warlike freaks! In the aftermath of the fight, the group collected the weapon Key carried known as Antithesis, and what we discovered is one of the several weapons known as the Relics of Genesis the group would collect. Along with this new weapon, part of their spoils was another divine spark. Essentially, these were divine batteries that were supercharged with Zeus's essence to help empower his hand-picked minions. After returning the princess and Shiziki stealing the Long Prince's identity, they had caught wind of a corrupt neighboring city filled with changelings and other minorities that were being executed in the streets. The one who shared this information was another changeling in disguise, a traveling merchant named Wilhelm who flew his own airship he titled the Blackjack, so they made their way to the city of Sea Shroud. On the way, Wilhelm introduced his current disciple, Philia. She was a powerful sorceress and one spicy-looking tiefling. Deciding to join our cause, she followed us into the city. With a dramatic entrance and following a public execution, we declared war on the current government of the town. We made allies with the underground movement, and in the evening hunted werewolves. During this hunt, we found ourselves with more reinforcements from Wilhelm, who had called his previous disciple to join our endeavors. And we then gained an additional member of the group, Aaron Black, an artificer who would later become known as the Engine of Gluttony. In fact, about this time, this hodgepodge group decided to give themselves a name and became the Seven Deadly Sins. The corrupt officials were overthrown, with a new one put in place by a public vote, and the underground movement was recruited for further tasks down the road. Soon after, we were summoned by the god of Tempest to fight in a tournament in which Shiziki and Dorian were victorious, and granted a boon along with the means to summon an avatar of Tempest when the time for this would be needed. And due to some skewed gambling odds, most of them became rich enough to put a 1%er to shame. Around this time, Carrick and Tenzin had decided to go their separate ways and left the group to pursue whatever individual goals they had for themselves. And they were never heard from again. Womp womp! As the tournament was wrapping up, Philia had felt the urgent need to return home to her Shrek-style abode of a shack in the swamp. After the remaining members of the Sins finished the tournament, we were immediately warned of an entity hunting Philia down, a creature known as the Avatar of Annihilation, and we made haste to Philia's old home in the airship. Arriving to find Philia under attack, an attempt was made to ram the ship into the creature, which kinda worked, but mostly just utterly destroyed Philia's house when we crashed an airship into it. After a scuffle and a tussle, the Avatar of Annihilation was defeated, and he left behind another relic of Genesis, a gear from the Eternium engine which Aaron collected. The group made their way to the town of Burkwood to assist in repairing a damaged ley line. After their arrival, Dorian was called away, but it didn't shorten their numbers for very long. Here they met the last of the Magi, Valastrios, an extremely knowledgeable, albeit long-witted practitioner of the arcane. They wrecked some green dragons, restored the ley line, and still had time for happy hour in Valastrios' magic home, if only Valastrios was cool like that. A short time after, they heard of a lich gathering up forces of detrimental power that needed to be stopped. All of the undead from Mistvale and King's Crest were under his control, and were setting in motion to cause a massive murder spree. Before embarking on to his locale, a previously dead blood hunter named Paragon unexpectedly arrived looking for Dorian. Even though he couldn't find the dwarf he was looking for, he decided to join the Sins in killing the Lich since he had a personal vendetta against him. Together, they met with the joined armies holding off the Lich's forces and decided to act as a strike team with the bulk of the forces made a way open for them. The plan was successful, and they were able to strike down the Lich and even rescued a baby dragon along the way whose mother had been turned in dead. Paragon, fulfilling his desire, left the Sins to return to his plane until there was another need for him. The baby dragon, which was named Blue, was taken under Valastrios' care and the group returned to the allied armies in Galeburg. Celebrations were had, drinks and drugs were ingested, and even a pet T-Rex was created. Unfortunately, the revelries were cut short when an organization calling themselves the Hands of Fate declared war on the Sins by killing their friend Wilhelm and dumping his body for them to find. Wilhelm was fortunately revived, but the declaration had been made all the same. But without much intel to go on, the Sins would have to wait until they were able to dig up some more information before being able to strike back. In the meantime, a plan was set in motion to begin the restoration of King's Crest, and Aaron joined Suzuki's guild to become a member of the Dark Sons. As they began collecting information and new leads, their travels would take them to the Tower of the Magi, to Geardale, and afterward to Stormhaven. They discovered that while the Hands of Fate were putting their own plans into motion, Zeus had not stopped making his own moves. An army of Illithid were gathering in the Underdark, and agents of the Hands of Fate were working with them. On their way through Stormhaven to the Underdark where the Illithid gathered, their party grew a bit as they reconvened with Dorian, and shortly after met a Fire Ganassi calling himself Phoenix. Called you Fire Ganassi, Phoenix, I forgot.
who
I
had
already
already
proven
proven
himself to the local royalty and come recommended, was a welcome addition to the Seven Deadly Sins. They entered the Underdark, explored its dark expanse, encountered a cosmic dragon that lurked in its tunnels, and Shizuki promptly banged her. They continued on, were interrupted by Zeus attacking them by reaching into the plane again with its gross tentacles, which were promptly amputated. The leader of the Illithid, who was working for Zeus, was found and turned into calamari. But once again, our celebrations were short-lived since the leader of the Hands of Fate, who was a walking bag of dicks, calling himself Relicanter, decided to pay a personal visit and ambushed us. He managed to kill Philia and dipped out like a bitch. Once again, we managed to revive a fallen friend and brought Philia back to no worse for wear and left the Underdark. From here, the party decided to divide and conquer their obligations. Valastrios returned to his tower, Philia, Dorian, and Phoenix went to Redford to kill an evil vampire, while Shizuki and Aaron left to Angaria to answer the summons from their guild. The vampires went down faster than a fat kid on a water slide, and the Dark Sons took over managing Redford. While Shaz and Aaron completed their guild task with flying colors, the Sons all came back together in their new base, which was a mansion Shizuki had purchased. During a discussion of where to head to next, Aaron had his house attacked and blown to smithereens, and it was claimed to be an attack by Relicanter. Having enough with this particular swat waffle, we discovered he was making plans in Primralty, and we made our way there directly. Relicanter had been carving out his own path to try and become a god, but even with his divine powers, he was still no match for the Sins. During the fight, the only real issue was Ravella managing to get herself killed again, and a close call, we resurrected her again. But with Relicanter finally out of the picture, we could focus our attention back to Zeus. We'd learned that the final divine spark that we would need to defeat the Overgod was in New Brass City. We made our way to the desert town, which was near where Phoenix's guild was located. Unfortunately, his comrades had seen better days, and with some help of the other members of the Sins, he convinced his guild to be absorbed into the Dark Suns, a deal that seemed mutually beneficial to all involved. Afterward, we got teleported to the Plane of Fire and traversed one more dungeon, found another relic of Genesis, and gathered the final Divine Spark. Having everything we needed to take on Zeos, we decided to do what every gamer does before the final fight, and go wrap up some side quests. Shiziki and Dorian went to Shaz's hometown of Darkholm and killed some of the people involved in the murder of Shiziki's parents. They met with the Queen of Darkholm, leaving quite the impression on her while they were there. They visited Flamethorn Jungle, where Dorian met his mother and was able to find some closure with her complex past. They found another damaged ley line and were able to repair it by jamming a magical dildo into it. Here, Ao visited the group to follow up on a warning he'd given us previously. In the upcoming days, when the fight with Zeus was done, if we should be victorious, it will begin the convergence. Separate continents and different places of space will all be merged together into one world. And he had given us a choice. When the convergence happens, Ao could use the bulk of his power to lessen the impact and save countless lives, but the overwhelming stress it would put on him would make him have to slumber for 100 years. Or, he could refrain from involving himself, many lives would be lost, but he could at least use his powers and influence to help the remaining that lived in the world after the catastrophe. We chose the former, choosing to save lives and have Ao go into hibernation. He also forewarned us that we only had 2 weeks before Zeus would finally touch down into our world for us to be able to fight him head on. After our decision was made, another god presented herself, Elistrae, who had interest in Shiziki. She had offered him power and new opportunities if only he could have the denizens of Darkholm return to worshipping her. He accepted. So Shiziki proposed to the Queen of Darkholm, and she also accepted. A shotgun wedding was had, and Shiziki became the King of Darkholm. During their travels up to this point, they had also been inviting all the royals of the kingdom to come together for a summit, a means to discuss an alliance to take on the threats to all their lands. The summit was to be had immediately after the wedding, since it seemed a good measure to kill 2 birds with 1 stone, while most of the regal personas were already in one place to hear the nuptials of the new king. The alliance was created, and through some manipulation and magic, Shiziki became the leader of this new alliance, becoming the High King of the land. A bit of time passed and preparations were made until Zeus and his army finally descended onto the world. They were met with a grand-scale fight, like something true to the Lord of the Rings badassery type stuff. However, at the beginning of it all, Zeus released some weird red energy into the land that pierced countless people who immediately fell unconscious quicker than one of Bill Cosby's dates. We charged in, gave Zeus a grand old bitch slap, and claimed our ultimate victory. What remained of Zeus's energy shattered, and we were able to absorb and trap some of it into the divine sparks that we collected up to this point. We followed up on a few of the unconscious affected by the red energy from before and found they were the first to be affected by the event that would later be dubbed the psionic Kosas. They now had psionic powers that were never before seen or even heard of. One who was affected by this was the current leader of the Dark Suns and needed someone trustworthy to lead the world's largest mercenary guild. He placed that responsibility on Aaron, who then became the acting commander. Shiziki took his divine spark and immediately cast a spell and left the group, only to come back a bit later. Now claiming his long-term plans had come to fruition, and he harbored the powers of the divine and gave himself the title, the God King. What a douche. Dorian disappeared, making all but a few he trusted believe he had died in the battle against Zeus for whatever reasons were his own. The convergence finally began. But thanks to Ao keeping his word and softening the blow, the land masses came together with significantly reduced damage. And now new people, new cultures, new kingdoms would all become somewhat neighbors in this world. As for the Sins, after accomplishing their main collective goal, it seemed befitting for many of them to start a new path and pursue more individual interests. Whether it be to recruit new forces and grow their troops, to rule the lands as royalty, to watch and protect the world anonymously from a distance, to further the research and understandings of the arcane, to begin a family, or simply return to a simpler life of tranquility. But for a time, these individuals had come together to make the most powerful fighting force that altered history in a way no one has ever done before. They were the 7 deadly sins. And that's what happened. Thank you for joining me for the Campaign 1 recap.
You know, I just have to say, you being in a suit during the recording of that just Yeah, it's something.
Sure. Anyhow, I tried to keep it short and sweet for you guys.
That was not.
Yeah, and I feel like that covered pretty much everything, at least as much as you could have gotten in that amount of time.
I'm surprised you didn't. You didn't mention the dwarf shit that Dorian did on that fight with the fire lady.
There was so
He
much.
only
Like,
had time to mention so much.
I never once mentioned anything about the Angel of Death. I didn't mention a ton of
Yeah.
stuff. And so, like, I mean, I tried to touch base with at least a little bit on everybody to some degree, but like
But
again,
you had time to mention the fact that you blew. Well, you didn't blow up, but Aaron's house blew up.
yeah, I got blown to smithereens. Well, that's the reason that we went after Relicanter after that, and that's why I wanted to kind of like mention that.
Yeah.
I
You didn't
gotcha.
mention pocket sand incident.
I'm here.
There's like a million things I
Mark.
didn't mention. Again, it was 3 years and 16 minutes.
Yeah,
I know,
true.
it's good. It was good, man.
It was-
It was really good.
It was good, yeah.
Enjoyed
I
it.
enjoyed it.
You had like, if you really do the math for that, you had like a few seconds per session that you had to cover. If you really the average.
So, Marte,
Yes.
when you should receive an email with a license key. Actually, you have a demo account. You have a free account. You don't need
Yeah,
the
there's-
license key.
I was gonna
So-
say there wasn't one.
Yeah. So you should really it should just be.
Just logging in now.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
already done that. I downloaded it, I logged in, and now on the options I have
Alright.
load campaign, create campaign, join
So,
campaign.
Join.
not to be rude here, but unless you need anything else for the group, or if you just want to go over things with Marte, cool. But otherwise, I'm just gonna go ahead and kill the recording and go and hop on
Yeah.
off.
I think.
Yeah, that's fine.
All
Yeah.
right, I'll catch y'all tomorrow.
Marte, in our pinned messages